Well, I think when you have a dropout rate in your statewide K through 12 system that hovers around 30%, you have a problem. It's costly personally to people, it's costly to the state because we fund a lot of this and then we have to fund the remedial efforts as well, but it's also costly economically. I mean, I believe there is a connection between our broken K through 12 system and our economy in Oregon. Well, I would say that all of the reform efforts, and it doesn't just have to be these, there are lots of other ideas floating around as well. They all essentially come down to three things: choice, accountability, and incentives. And I actually think that they're the same thing. Because when you give people choice, then the people who are providing the education are held accountable for their results. And when they know they're accountable, they look for ways to be successful and they innovate. And when people who are providing educational options are being innovative, they're creating all sorts of different kinds of choices. So the whole thing is circular, and in some ways the exact same thing. And our system really doesn't do any one of those three things very well. It doesn't innovate very well, it doesn't offer a lot of choices, and very few people are held accountable. And that's what we've got to break out of, and it's choice, accountability, and innovation that we've got to get into. There is a growing sense across the political spectrum that Oregon is not doing and embracing some of these educational reforms that are going on in other states and are achieving some really interesting results in other states. And as Oregonians, we think of ourselves as kind of forward-thinking, and we believe that we're on the cutting edge of a lot of things. And so this is unusual for us to have to face the fact that maybe when it comes to education reform, we're bringing up the rear rather than being progressive and leading. And that's motivated a lot of people to want to look around the country and see what's working and try to do that here as well. Well, there are some people here who would probably argue that giving a tax credit is a net loss, but I think it's actually a win-win. First of all, every child that gets an opportunity to go to a school that's going to be a better fit for them and that they're going to be more successful at is better. That's better for them, and it's better for us, even if you just look at it from a government perspective. Because the more children who actually graduate and have successful outcomes in education, the fewer people who are involved in our social safety net. So there are all sorts of savings to making sure that we are providing an outstanding educational opportunity for as many children as possible. But even in the short term, I actually believe that there's plenty of evidence out there to prove that when you offer a tax credit and a child then leaves your system to go to some other school, your per student spending goes up on the students that remain. You've actually saved money by doing that. So it's a win-win because the parent and child are getting a better school fit for themselves, and we actually have more money to spend on those who are remaining, say, within the comprehensive high school systems that are offered by districts and the rest. We're not here for the system. The system has a mission, and the mission is to provide a first-class, high-quality public education for every child. And we need to be willing to kind of break out of thinking it has to be done the way it was being done yesterday and ask ourselves, does this accomplish that higher goal? We've got to get in the business of saying yes to all sorts of different kinds of models for delivering public education and allowing people to find the fit for their child that works, instead of a system now that kind of directs people and assigns them to their school. Ultimately, that's not the future. A few decades from now, people are going to wonder why we ever ran the system the way that we do now. And there's nothing more rewarding than seeing a school get started or a model get created and students sign up, and you're talking to parents who say that just a few years ago their child was completely disengaging from their education and giving up. And the parent believed that they could see their child's future shrinking. And with this new opportunity, their child is enthusiastic and is smiling and is happy and is blowing the doors off academically. And you can see the parent get very emotional because they understand now that the world is opening back up for their child. That's what makes this rewarding, and it's why I love doing it.